Hi everyone, Adi Tambarambaa, also known as Tammy Porter, and today we are playing with some of the new latest in the Art by Marlene release. I'll take you through what I used. I've used the Perfect Size Journal, I've used the Frantic Deco, which was the stencil from last time. I've also used the new stencil, which is Lacy Mandala. I've also used one of the new Collage paper pads, which is called Funky Florals, and I've used a little bit of the new paper elements called Sunny Days, and I used some of the quotes from Quotylicious. I've used some rainbow washi, and then I've used all the paper elements, so some of the little hole reinforcers, some of the little Christmas themed ones, and some of the frames. And then I used a few colours from the neon stencil paste. I think I used blue, pink, purple and orange. Yeah, and then I've used things like the glue and the spatula. So lots of new stuff and lots of old faves in there as well. So I grabbed out my page in the journal, and straight away this little guy stood out to me, particularly as he's not super Christmassy. He could be, but he's got a bright coloured coat on, and I'm not quite in Christmas mode yet, so I thought I'd go with that. And he goes so beautifully with, I think that's my favourite frame from the frame set, that rainbow one. I love that. So he looks great on there, so that was my jumping off point. And then I decided to take the neon stencil pastes for a bit of a spin. Really, I just wanted to see how they worked on the paper. So I haven't pre-gessoed, I'm just going straight onto the paper and using the spatula, and I start in the blue with the blue colour. I just pop it down on the page in a couple of areas and lift it up, and you can see this, I'm using the Frantic Deco and quite a geometric part of that. And it's got some really fine lines in there, and this did not seep through at all. And then I decided to join the purple alongside it so that you kind of get a bit of an ombre effect. I know that whatever I do is going to be in the centre, so I'm just making sure it sticks out far enough out from the sides. And then I decided to grab the neon paste and just add a little bit of water, and then just add some splatters to the background of the page. So I did some in the blue and some with the purple that I had used in the background. Okay, so now I think the spatula makes that part super easy. Because it's soft and bendable, it just glides. So make sure you get one of those because they are excellent if you don't already have one. Okay, so now out of the Collage paper book, the Funky Florals, there's this gorgeous paper in there that Marlene has designed. And it goes perfectly with this project because there's a little bit of white and there's all the rainbow colours in there. So I cut out that swirly piece and just sort of used a pencil to measure it. And then I glued it to the back of the frame. And then the little boy goes on top. And as you can see, when I place it on the page, you've still got those little bits of colour peeking out. There's also a couple of frondy, like leafy, blossomy things on that paper. And I thought, oh, well, I'll cut those out as well. So there's this one, and I cut another one out a little bit later. And they just work perfectly with this page. Now I think, okay, I need some stamping. I need some black, and I need some black to add a contrast to all the colours that I'm using and to pop against the white. So this is one of the background building stamp that came out last time, and there's this lovely geometric liney kind of graphy kind of stamp. So I've put that on the page, and I'm thinking about my frame being in the centre, so I'm sort of bringing it out from the edges. There's no need to stamp all in the centre if it's going to get covered up, but I just wanted you to be able to still see it peeking out from behind the little focal point. And then I decide there's also another stamp in there that's just sort of a triangular line. And I thought, you know what, I think I need a little bit more colour in the background. So I thought, let's see how the neon stencil paste stamp when using stamps. I wasn't sure because it's quite a thick paste. I wasn't sure if it would work. Well, it worked perfectly. So I just rubbed it on with my fingers and then just stamped it. And you can see all the detail in the stamp. I thought it would be quite smudgy and unclear, but you really can see it. And then I just used the leftover bit of neon paint as splatter and dried it off. And please remember, when using anything like the pastes on your stamps or your stencils, to clean them after, because they will clog it up and change the way it stamps. So also in that set, these three little geometric like strong circular shapes, and I thought it needed just a bit more black in there. So I used that to stamp repeatedly so that, again, it's peeking out from behind the frame. And because I'm having such a lovely time with all the rainbow colours, sitting on my desk is the rainbow washi tape. And I thought, oh, this is going to go perfectly. So I'm using it like a scallop along the bottom edge of the frame because it's got all the colours of the frame. And the way I did it, it's kind of the opposite of the frame. So where there's purple and navy on the right-hand side, I've put that on the left. And it finishes with the yellows and oranges. So it looks really effective. I really like it. And it's just peeking out from underneath. Now, when you're using that washi, do peel it back really carefully. I do find, because of the scallops, at times it wants to tear. So just be really patient and take your time when tearing those off. See, I love that. That looks great. Okay, so now I'm thinking, what am I going to do next? And thinking about the that stamp I've just stamped, the circular stamp, I thought, oh, it reminds me of the new hole reinforcers. So I think, well, I'll use them as coloured confetti across my page. So here I'm just trialling them out. I don't stick them down till a little bit later, but it's got all the colours. I love that about Marlene's stuff, is her colours are all the same. So she uses, you know, the paint colours, and then the colours that she uses in her collage and all her bits and pieces just match perfectly. So everything goes. So then I cut out the last little frondy sort of branchy bit from that paper, and I'm just fluffing around trying to work out where to put them. I do like the two coming out from behind the boy, but I did feel like it needed a little bit over on the left-hand side. And then I feel like the branch leaf isn't long enough, and I wanted it to look like it's coming out from behind the boy and you could see it. So I found a little heart in the new Paper Elements book, and I went with a pink and purple one because this little boy is standing at the pink and purple, like the purpley section of the frame. So I thought, well, that works, having those colorways there to go with it. So although this is all the colours of the rainbow and it's quite chaotic, there is method to my madness. So I do tend to try and put like the purple heart with the purple, just so that the eye can concentrate on what it's looking at. And having said that, I think, well, look, I feel like I've got pink, I've got blue, I've got purple. Let's try a bit of orange. And I wanted to try out the new stencil, which is the Lacy Mandala. It's so pretty. I'm not using the whole mandala. I'm just, again, using little bits of it because I know it will peek out from behind the frame. So I do it in 3 spots, on the top, the right and the left. And yeah, it's a lovely print. I can't wait to play with that stencil in its sort of almost in its entirety, rather than using little bits, because I think it's going to be really, really pretty. Okay, so now it's time to stick everything down because I'm pretty happy with that background. So I use some foam tape just to glue the frame on, because I wanted it to sit up off of the page and up off of that washi. And yeah, so it's a little bit fiddly peeling all the bits off, but worth it in the end. So I stick that down, then I stick my little boy as my focal point, and then I start to glue down all the other bits. So I have the frond sort of coming off of the frame, so I just needed to put some foam tape behind parts of it, not the whole thing, just parts of it, so that it sat flat on the page. And same thing with that other frond, gluing it down. And then I think there's a part where I cut one of those off, I think. Or have I already? I might have already done that. I cut one off of the one on the right hand side. Oh, here I go. And I cut that one off. It just felt a bit cramped there, and I needed something else on the left hand side. If I was going to put a little bit on the left hand side, I felt like it needed a little bit more. So I'm just playing around, poking, things like that. Now, I must also apologise that this is a little bit dark at times, and I've had to brighten it up. So I'm creating, we are coming out of winter in Clare, where I live in Australia, and I only have sort of one day a week where I can get some art stuff done, and I've had a lot on lately, so unfortunately I haven't been able to video until a little bit later in the day. Ideally I like to do it in the morning when you get the morning sun, and it just doesn't create any shadows on my work. But I am doing this in the afternoon, so it's created shadows, and I've had to brighten it up a little bit, so the colours aren't quite right. It's much more vivid and much brighter in real life, and you will see that. So I took lots and lots of extra photos so you can see the close-ups when they come at the end. So now I'm gluing down all that confetti, having a lovely time. I'm gluing both the sort of donut part and the centre hole as well, and I really like how that looks. And then it's time for a quote, and so this is, because this is so very colourful, I went with a white writing on a black background, and that works really well with this page. So it says, being unique is far better than being perfect, and I thought that suits this little boy and all the colour. So then I decided, well, I didn't put any yellow in the background, so I've just decided to come in with the yellow marker and add just a few lines, and that's all it needed, was a little hint of colour. Okay, so just sticking things down, making sure it's right, making sure I'm happy. You could poke around for a long time. But yeah, this was lots of fun. So this was sort of me trying out all of the bits from the new release. Let's see what happens, you know, let's see what that looks like. And ooh, that goes with that. And it just kind of evolved. I haven't done one of these style of pages for a long time. I used to do them a lot. So it was a lot of fun to go back to something I used to do a while ago. So I will leave you with the colours, which is much more like the actual image, because I've been able to take these in some light. So you'll see the colours, it's much more vivid. It goes together beautifully. I really love all the details. Hopefully you can see all the stamping and the neon paste in the background and the depth that I've created with that frame. So it's really, really cute. I love this. So that's all from me today. As always, I would love you to let me know what you think of the new collection as well. And thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it.